Matuba to help us with welcoming all of us and just reminding us why we're here. But before that, I'd like to request all of you to stand as we sing the national anthem.
Sigeleli Afrika, maluphakanyiswa upololwayo, izwa imithandazo yethu. Nkosi sigelela thina, lusapho lwayo, murena buluka sitshaba sa Yesu. Felice dintwale maswenye usibuluke sitshaba sa Yesu sitshaba sa South Africa Let's go far on sayeme lady deep united we shall stand. Let us live and strive for freedom in South Africa.
Whilst you're standing, can I humbly request that Pastor Pumzile opens for us in prayer?
Sithandazeni sivala amehlo sibonga uNkulunkulu wethu owenze ukuthi sibe la namhlanje sizodumisa umama wethu ukuthi uNkulunkulu may God bless you in abundance my lady abe nawe in all the time masokhuleka la sicela izulu ukuthi lehle manje lihlanganye kunye nathi sicela umdali weinsuku ukuthi abe nathi sisazokhala sizokhulekela nokuhlupheka kwethu sikhulekele nenhlangano yethu sikhulekele nezwe lethu ukuthi libuye iAfrica Day namhlanje sicela uNkulunkulu ehlangane nathi namhlanje sikhulekela ukuthi izulu lize sithi masikhuleka livuleke uNkulunkulu azizulu lethu asivalana amehlo baba wethu nomusa Baba wethu nomhawu sibongile dwala laphakade sibongile menzwe into zonke usiqinile kwaze kwala abaningi bebelifisile lethuba azange baze balithola ukuthi baphinde babuye mesengcwele nangu mama wethu Sophia brain ngimsondeza kuwe baba wethu sibongile ukuthi usenze ukuthi sikhumbule ukuthi simbonge esaphila abaningi bethu sibakhumbula sebengekho ngithi may the Lord umbusise in abundantly favor her with good health and umncede ukuthi aphinde asiphilele kulelanga lanamhlanje sisekhona singomama siyimbokodo sithi phakama mama uthi brain uNkulunkulu aphinda avusa abanyodi brain phakathi kwethu aphinda fusa abanyo Esther phakathi kwethu ukuthi namhlanje masiphuma kule ndawo sibonakale singabantu abasha baba bonizwe lako wethu babizwe lako wethu liyadunguzela ingane zethu ziyabulawa abayeni bethu bayabulawa inhlangano yethu imiswe kabi mesengcwele siyakunxusa ke manje Jesus name sicela umoya engcwele ukuthi uhlanganyele nathi ukuthi masiphuma kule ndawo usenze sibe ngabantu abasha sicela uthando likaNkulunkulu may love of our Lord Jesus Christ and God be with us today siphume lana singabantu abasha sisebenze ngokuzikhandla njengomama uSophia brain owadela abantwana bakhe wahamba wayosebenzela inhlangano yenzake baba ukuthi lolo thando owawusiphelo naphinde lwehle namanje baba wethu sikuthembile baba kekho njengawe baba kekho fana nawe dwala laphakade uyingcwele Jehova Sabaothi lapho sekungene khona wena kuyabonakala lapho ungene khona kekho ngavula nalapho uvale khona kekho ngavula siyalibonga lo suku namhlanje babusiseke baba abaholi bethu abasiphethe nangu baba Cyril uMatamela siyamcelela ukuthi muphu ukuhlakanipha alihole lelizwe lethu nabo mama basiphethe baphu ukuhlakanipha abathole leli izwe lethu balihole ngokuthula balihole ngothando bacele umoya engcwele ukuthi wehlele kubo ukuze leli izwe lithuthukele phambili uyingcwele Jehova Sabaothi yehla moya engcwele yehla. May the Lord God be with all of us now asigcine siphilile ngegama lomfelo wethu Jesu Kristu oyinkosi nomsindisi kuze kube phakade. Amen.
And the congregation said, Amen indeed. Mama Sophie, all you need to know is that you can say amen. That was a prayer and a message going straight to God's ears. Thank you, Siyabonga kakhulu, Pastor Phumzile. I would like to now call upon our SG, Comrade Myoho, to come and tell us who is here. She is going to also acknowledge the important people in our midst. And I'm going to announce the following, the speakers that are going to follow after our SG must just know that this is not an electioneering campaign. These people are all converted already. So you are only given 3 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes. I'm mentioning this so that when she's done, the program will just run swiftly. Singaxabani, ayigabi.
Amandla, Amandla, viva ANC, viva, viva ANC Women's League, viva, viva SACP, viva, viva Kosatu, viva, viva Sanko, viva, Malibongwe, watinta bafazi, watinta bafazi. The leadership of the ANC present, led by President Comrade Cyril Ramaphosa, leadership of the ANC Women's League, led by President Batabile Dlamini, former president of the ANC, the leadership of the African National Congress, led by Comrade Jesse Juwate, ministers and deputy ministers, alliance partners, Progressive Youth Alliance, comrades in business, our honorable lady, our stalwart and selfless daughter of our country, and Sophie DeBrain and the family, comrades and friends, good evening. It is not by coincidence that we honor our selfless daughter of our country, and Sophie during the day we celebrate Africa Day. And Sophie is one of our forebears of our struggle against apartheid and colonialism that ravaged Africa for years, and through her contributions and contributions of others, Africa received its freedom. And Sophie is a flower that brightens our lives, and her deeds brings hope into lives of many. She has remained selfless servant of the people. In her acceptance speech of OR Tambo Life Achievement Award at the 4th Annual Ubuntu Awards hosted by DECO, she said, open quote, "Our awareness from very early on was that of all people of the country, continent and the world to live free and fulfilled lives. We had to dedicate our lives to the noble work of advocating the freedom, justice, and equality. Today we can proudly say that we have taken the political power that we need to govern in the resources of the country. The political power is, however, not enough, as we want economic power as well. When we demand that land be expropriated without compensation, we are speaking directly to the economic power, wherein the economy, land remains a huge factor insofar as the resources and means of production are concerned. Honorable President and fellow comrades, Africa Day is a day we ought to celebrate and observe as the African continent. It is not just a day where we are reminded of the historical importance of the formation of the AU 1963. However, it is an opportunity for us as Africans to set aside a day where we take pride in ourselves as African people. The pride stemming from different cultural backgrounds that as African people are able to unite under. The young people of this country are able to celebrate the contribution made by those who stood against the system of oppression for us. Whilst we celebrate the day, such as Africa Day, we must never at any opportunity be left at a state where we forget those who worked the ground for us to be able to commemorate such days. Tonight, we celebrate the contribution made by Aunt Sophie in the liberation of the masses of our people, and also try to remind ourselves that we are still landless and economically marginalized, and the struggle continues. Ladies and gentlemen, you are all welcomed. Feel at home. Tonight is Mom Sophie's night. Thank you. Mandla!
Thank you very much, Comrade Miyoko. And that is our SG for the ANC Women's League, African National Congress Women's League, in case you're confused. And I would like to now call upon, I'm just checking if my artists are ready. The very first one was Spogazi, and Spogazi is going to have a duo with, they said it's a surprise. So Spogazi, where are you? So I'll leave that to them. They will introduce it in a very special way. Happy birthday, Mama Sophia. All right, another announcement. Apparently, security says there's just way too many of us in here, and it poses a security risk, because this is, as much as it's a birthday party, it is also an official event. Our president is in the house. So those of us who are standing, if you can kindly go to the third floor. Third floor, you will be accommodated there. There are screens as well. So we humbly request, please, that you go to the third floor. Yes. Yes. Do we have spoggers? Right, as I move right along, no one negotiated with me that when I've passed your name, I need to be coming back. So, hi Duma Yatamai. We are in Gauteng, and in Gauteng we have a Gautrain. I also have I Complete, which is a group of gentlemen who sing amazingly, beautifully together in a united voice. So as they come through, I would like my sisters, oh mama, to tap into that space that says, oh, amadodedu, sililizele bantu, siba welcome. Can I have I Complete, please? Ningangiphoqi. Sengithengise kangaka ngiyanicela ukuthi nifike nenze into yenu. I Complete, ladies and gentlemen. It's the truth. It's the truth. Can I see all the single sisters? Where the single sisters at? If it's fat and said, that's not the it thing. That doesn't count. All the single sisters. Oh, Mam Jessie Tuate, so all the single sisters. Brothers, this is an indication. Amadoda aweko. Amadoda aweko. Sisenkingeni straight. All right, moving right along. We've got young people, Mama Sophia, who wanted to come and share this day with you and celebrate with us. And I would like to call upon, as you remember, the moment, Iyamandla. I mean, that was such a proud moment of Fees Must Fall. And you remember a young girl who stood up when her school said your hair is just way too bushy. And she connected to her bushiness and told them where to get off. I remember going to that school to just support these young people with a voice that was reminding us of a young Sophia DeBrain who was 18 leading a march with Omama Bakhe. And I would like to now call upon Zulaika Patel. When I get, at least I did see you. Please come through. Hey, the program is on cost tender, serious. Like, guys, work with me. Where is Zuleika? There you go. Malibongwe. Nah, imbogoto, man. Come do your thing, baby. Oh, mama, into na umtane nulona. Igama lamakhosikazi malibongwe, igama lamakhosikazi.
Sanbonani, Lochani, Molweni, Dumelang, Ndimadekwane, my revolutionary greetings to all the comrades that are present, and my very special greetings to Ma Sophie DeBrain, our very strong Mbogoto. Today we celebrate Africa Day and the revolutionary Ma Sophie DeBrain. We celebrate our beautiful, majestic land. Kwame Nkrumah lit the fire in 1958, when the first country as Sub-Sahara gained its independence, the Black Star of Africa, Ghana. In his independence speech, he said that Ghana's independence is meaningless unless it is tied up with the whole liberation of Africa. It changed again when in the deep south, this time was shining in Tanzania, the homeland of Nyerere and Nkrumah. Sorry. Nkrumah and Nyerere had a dream of creating a pan-African body that will aim to unite the continent of Africa and also help with liberation movements that were fighting hardcore racist, capitalist, imperialist colonial powers. It was called the Organization of African Unity, which today is the African Union. It came into effect in the year of 1963 on the 25th of May, its headquarters being in the land of Ras Tafari, Haile Selassie in Ethiopia, in Addis Thank you. Mandela was in attendance and gave the opening speech to mark the occasion of the whole Africa that from then infinity of 25 May shall be Africa Day to honor the struggles and independence of Africa. We also celebrate Ma Sophie DeBrain for her immense contribution to liberating our land, Azania. Our land, Azania, is one of the largest producers of gold in the world with 59% of world production. Uranium, the third largest production in the world with 33% of its production coming from us. Azania is also the world's largest producer of platinum and vanadium. the land also has significant qualities of chrome, asbestos, nickel, fluorspar, and coal. Africa produces all the minerals that the queens and kings of the Western world desire. Africa is rich, and I would like to quote Minister Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma when she said that Africa is rich, but Africans are poor. And we need to ask ourselves why Africans are poor and what we can do to change the fact that Africa is rich, yet Africans are poor. And in particular, African women are poor. And what we can do to bring African women to the forefront. Land expropriation is currently being discussed, land expropriation without compensation, which points to the fact that a lot of tribes have been displaced when segregation was being taken into place. And now we need to also take to consideration of why 24 years into democracy, segregated states that promote the racist history that we have had, states such as Orania, why do they still exist? Why? We need to, if we are going to be expropriating land without compensation, we need to be dismantling states such as Orania and groups that promote racism, groups that promote our patriarchal apartheid history. We need to be dismantling these groups and these states first before we can say that we are into liberation and South Africa is a land of rainbows and happy dolphins. We need to be dismantling these states. For if we are not dismantling these states, then we have no freedom because racism is still being promoted. And we also live in a land where the youth, the current youth, don't know their heroes. And we need to ask ourselves, why does this youth not know their heroes? If we can go out into schools and ask youth members about who Sophia Brain is, will they be able to answer us? We need to be asking ourselves why they are not able to answer us. Is it the education system that they are receiving now? I believe so, that it is the education system that they are receiving now. Because the education system that they are receiving now promotes patriarchy. As in our history, we seem to not be learning about our African leaders. We seem to not be learning about African queens such as Queen Nzinga, who led Angola to victory when the Portuguese wanted to colonize them. We need to be learning about Lilian Ngoyi, Winnie Madikizela Mandela, Helen Joseph, Ruth First, Charlotte Maxeke, who also founded the ANC Women's League, Sophia Brain, Raima Musa. We need to have a spotlight on women within our history. We need to be teaching our youth on their African roots. As now our youth are very infatuated with the American culture and desire to be like the Americans. And we need to ask ourselves, why is that? Are they being taught to disregard their cultures? Because as I am aware, in schools, we don't have a lot of schools that are teaching a broad perspective of African languages. They are rather focusing on the language Afrikaans. Why is it that we are 24 years into democracy? Learners are being told to be proud of their African roots, yet they are not taught about their African root. They don't know what happens in African cultures. They don't know, they disregard their African identities. They are not proud to be African. They are not proud to be black. They don't know who their heroes are. They don't know the stories of where they come from and who their African soils have given birth to. They don't know those people. And, shit, is time running out? Please just give me 5 minutes. I'll be reaching the conclusion soon. Okay, I'm so sorry. I'm reaching my conclusion very soon. I'm reaching the conclusion. So, comrades, unfortunately, I will have to cut my speech very short because of timing. So I'm just going to end off with a poem that I've dedicated to Sophia and all the black women that are present in this room and all the black women that are in Africa. And we need to be proud to be black African women. We need to claim our identities. We need to claim our bodies, for those are our bodies. The bodies that are overly sexualized out there, we need to claim our bodies. We need to be proud of our bodies. Whether you are thick, whether be it you are slender, we need to be proud of our bodies, our skins. So I'm just going to say the poem. Sorry, I just found it out. This is a letter to all the black women. Black woman, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, daughter of Africa, daughter of the precious Azania. Wena ukhanya ukudlula ilanga nezinkanyezi, born of the union of heaven and earth. Your ebony skin glazed in gold, you are precious with a smile that radiates pure beauty. Your melanin glow that is reminiscent to the warm hot chocolate that warms the cold winter's nights. Your afro coils prettier than any flower in the garden. Nkosazana, wear your crown with pride. Umuhle ngempela. You are a diamond. You shine brighter than the sun. You shine brighter than any diamond in space. Black woman, royal woman, you are the descendants of queens and princesses. Gold, diamonds, pearls, and oils were your toys. Black woman, strong woman, you are the pillar of our families. And it is in this pillar we find love. It is in this pillar we find strength and dignity. Hold your head high, elegant woman. Hold your head high, for you are no less of a human. You are a black woman. And I will say it louder for the people at the back who can't hear me. You are a black woman, the true definition of Mbogodo, the true epitome of Mbogodo. Love yourself, black woman, for you are born of the Nile. You are the true definition of beauty. And I'd just like to end off in saying, within land expropriation without compensation, we need to take into the fact that women should not be forgotten in getting land, as women have worked the land for years and have given birth to this land. And women should not be forgotten in the expropriation of land without compensation. Our queens should not be forgotten, as our queens have led our struggle. Our queens have brought us to this liberation, and our queens will take us forward to more freedom. Malibongwe igama lamakhosikazi. Amandla awethu. Strength to Sophia, to brain strength. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry for going over time.
Yeah, ne? She didn't die, she multiplied. I am Winnie Mandela. I feel like we've just had a Winnie Mandela experience. I feel like we've gone back to the 20,000 women march and the tiny little packaged in precious cargo, and that was Mama Sophia Dubrain. And the country is in good hands. We can say that. I'd like to now call upon Precious Banda to please make your way to where the speakers are. And whilst we allow, Precious is here. Precious, man. Take it away, Precious. 3 minutes.
Amandla malibongwe watinta wafazi watinta Mbogodo. Feminists at the back must sit down. We're chasing for time. Feminists must sing at the end of the program. To the program director, the leadership of the ANC, the leadership of the SACP, I've seen them here, Comrade Dulama, from the Gender Commission, former President, DSG, the leadership of the Women's League, President Watawile Dlamini, SG, Deputy President, the National Executive Committee of the Women's League, PYS structures or protocol observed. We are honored, comrades, to be given this opportunity to speak as young women in honoring a former young person who was an activist and who started being an activist at a time when she was young. We are here to respect and to just say thank you to Aunt Sophie for her contribution to the liberation of the people. But we want to use her life to communicate a message to our leaders that Mom Sophie is an example that structures were led by young people, and that all campaigns and all epochs in history that were successful were led by young people. And therefore, young people must not be used as conveyor belts. Young people must not be used as tools in factional battles. Young people must not be used as...
All right, so that's the event coming from Marshalltown in Johannesburg. You saw President Cyril Ramaphosa there. He will be giving the keynote address. He, on his left-hand side, I don't think you saw, Batabile Dlamini, the head of the Women's League, who did not support him in the race for ANC President in Nasrec in December, and a lot of speculation about their relationship, but they are sitting side by side. She is on his left-hand side. And also former President Jacob Zuma attending this ANC Women's League function tonight. So President Cyril Ramaphosa...
I want us to also reflect on the question again of reflecting in the future. That a lot of theory and the movement must take center stage in ensuring that young people are taught about where this movement is from and where it's going and what needs to be done to take it forward. We are also celebrating Comrades Africa Day at a time when women are being killed. Women are dying in the hands of men. The Africa for the future, if we continue to live like this, is going to be an Africa without women, because women are going to be killed in the hands of men. We call upon law enforcement agencies, we call upon the Minister of Police to make our streets safe. Every day, there is a case of a woman that has been killed. There is a case of a woman that has been raped somewhere. That cannot continue to be the status quo. We cannot continue to celebrate liberation, to celebrate freedom, and to speak about a future of a continent that does not give space to its own women, a continent that suppresses women using religion, suppresses women using all forms of socialization that are there. We must also remember that at this time, in the time of oppression, the people of Swaziland, the people of Western Sahara, the people of Sudan are all under siege. And it is women that bear the brunt more. In these conflict-ridden areas, it is women that suffer the most. So we want to take this opportunity as African women to stand with our toiling women from other countries and to say solidarity forever, and we call for peace and we call for resolution in their countries so that our women and the children are allowed to live. When we were going, comrades, I had a conversation last week, fortunately, with Mom Sophie. And I wanted to find out what was the role of women in organizing the Congress of the People, where the Freedom Charter was adopted. And she narrated to me how it was them that did door-to-door to go and ask the people, what is it that they want to reflect in that Freedom Charter? So it was the women that were the foot soldiers. It was the women that mobilized for the potato boycott when they were protesting against farmers that were exploiting workers in potato farms. It was women that adopted a women charter before the Freedom Charter. It was women that formed a movement for women, organized movement 100 years ago, the Bantu Women's League in 1918. Women saw the need to come together. So as young women, we are confident because we know we stand on the shoulders of giants. We know that when we call an end to femicide, when we call an end to rape and rape culture, when we call an end to gender-based violence, when we call an end to patriarchy, including in the movement that undermine the contribution of women and continue to suppress women, we know we shall triumph because our women have been doing it for generations. I hear the program director, comrades. In conclusion, I just want to say, may we build an Africa that is going to be comfortable, an Africa that is going to be prosperous, an Africa that is going to fight all inequalities and oppression, an Africa that is going to stand for its people and for its women and its children, an Africa that will never judge its women because they are women, an Africa that Dorota Mana fought for, an Africa that Ruth First fought for, an Africa that Josim Pama fought for, an Africa that Mam Sophie fought for. And we are committing here, as we wish you a happy 85th anniversary, that we are going to continue with the struggle and we are going to soldier on. We are more confident than before, and we know victory is certain for the liberation of women, and that women are going to be free one day, and that women are going to be seen as equals to their male counterparts in all the spaces that we live in and move in. Malibongwe.
I think Mom Sophia's birthday was supposed to be done in parts. It was supposed to have series 1, series 2, series 3, and then episode 10. Because right now we are seriously in trouble. Some of the people who want to celebrate with Mom Sophia are her age group. They are about 80-something. But we know that she's 80. She hasn't reached that other 5 yet. They are tired, so we're trying to move it as swiftly as we possibly can. We have young, beautiful souls here who wanted to pay tribute for you, Mam Sophia. They call themselves, they are from Chief Albert Lutuli Park, and they are learners in school, and they call themselves a positive vibration. Can you kindly assist us with the podium, please? Oh, Mama, please, Lilizela, Mama, these are your babies.
In 1956, 9 opponents come to my mind. The women are the powerful force which we can always remember. In Seped, Musad Usara Tipa Kabaran. I wish I was a magician so that whenever there's crisis, I would just say, mother, wife, break the silence. As I remember the long march on the 9th of August, 1956.
The power of the women that strike the strength of our men. Women are so strong that even when they cry, tears don't last for so long. Women, mothers and wives, break the silence. Only a few people know remarkable women who had full impact in the South African politics. We all must admire women for their contribution and stunning commitment.
Remember the role of the women in the struggle for democracy in South Africa and to honor the role that the women play in the society.
And this is why I say, Watinta Mina, Watinta Mbogot, Watinta Tina, Watinta Bafas.
You strike a woman, you strike a rock.
It is the day to celebrate. It is the day to think for all that the world have done to the charming color pink. Bakai bumme, bakai basadi, bakai bu ausi, libu ausi nyana.
They blocked her. They chased her that day. They stomped all her life. Her bleeding eyes did say, hey!
An unarmed woman with self-arrested courage, they took all her confidence with their harsh and sharp image.
They found her so helpless. They made her to cry. They turned her life to hell and forced her to die.
But let me say a word full of hope. She made her way out and learned how to cope.
A woman, a mother, a wife, with patience she strives, carry, bearing and waking, still struggling with life.
The power of the woman is immense. The reminder of the contribution made by the woman, the strength that made the woman march to the Union building. They are a river that flows, and all those who are thirsty can drink. They drink knowledge, perseverance. They drink motherhood. They are like nature. They give expecting nothing in return. I was there when the women were marching to the Union buildings in Pretoria on the 9th of August 1956. We were angry and tired of being ruled by the white government, and we were ready to take aggressive action. I was there to fight against women oppression, to say yes to women empowerment. I said, enough is enough. We cannot be controlled, we cannot be told, and we cannot be disadvantaged.
But what? Wait, what's about our freedom? No, I was there. I said, but mama, but me, the time has finally came that we break the silence, and that we said, what's best for our black land?
I was there leading the march along with Lilian Goyi, Helen Joseph, and Sophie DeBrain. And together we said, enough is enough. Panting on my past lost pants. I signed a petition and took it to Straydom, and he knocked at room 104, goom, 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 and said, enough is enough, panting on my past lost pants. We have had enough of your demands, enough of your commands, and enough of your unfellows. You have threatened us and killed us, but today we are here to say, enough is enough. It is our time to talk. It is our time to show you who we really are. Winnie Madikizela Mandela. I am the product of the masses of my country and the product of my enemy.
I, Helen Joseph, I want to be here when my country is free, to know that I've earned my place in it.
I, Lilian Goyi, I do not want men who wear skirts under their trousers. If they do not want to act, let us women exchange garments with them. I, Ruth Mafati, we are here not because the men say so, not because somebody has done us a favor, but because we were there when it was fought for, and we were part of the fight for freedom. I, Sophie Teresa Williams DeBrain. Women emancipation has not become a reality yet. There has been all sorts of good things that have came to women because of what we have started and because of what the women before us have started. There has been many marches in the early 1930s because of what we have started hundreds of years ago. Sophie Teresa DeBrain was the youngest woman in the Women's March to the Union buildings. She is the only survivor of that march today. She is the founding member of the South African Congress of Trade Unions. She is one of the founding members of the ANC Educational Councils formed in 1980. We celebrate you today. I, Charlotte Mahomu Manyamatleke. This work is not for yourselves.
This work is not for yourselves.
Kill that spirit of self and do not live above your people.
Kill that spirit of self and do not live above your people.
But
live with them.
But live with them.
And if you can rise, bring someone with you.
And if you can rise, bring someone with you. And if you can rise, bring someone with you. And if you can rise, bring someone with you. And if you can rise, bring someone with you. And if you can rise, bring someone with you. And if you can rise, bring someone with you. Oh, Mama Betu. Oh, Mama Betu. Oh, Mama Betu. Gamani nibe ngezinyawo, nibe ifindo lokuqina lokuhlakani. Gamani nibe ngezinyawo, nibe ifindo lokuqina lokuhlakani.
Sophie to pray. Antoinette Tambo. Lillian Goyi. Helen Joseph. Sisi Gould. Winnie Matikizela Mandela. Ruth First. Ruth Mapati. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma.
Nokukhanya Luthuli. Albertina Sisulu. Limpho Hani. Ellen Dolen. Dr. Albertina Luthuli. Charlotte Maxeke.
Baleka Mbethe.
We, the people of South Africa, recognize the injustice of our past, honor those who suffered for justice and freedom in our land, respect those who have worked to build and develop our country, and believe that South Africa belongs to all who live in it, united in our diversity. We therefore, through our freely elected representatives, adopt this constitution as the supreme law of the Republic, so as to heal the division of the past and establish a society based on democratic values, social justice and fundamental human rights. Lay the foundation for a democratic and open society in which government is based on the will of the people and every citizen is equal and protected by law. Improve the quality of life of all citizens and feed the potential of each person. And
I am a politician.
I am an advocate.
I am a dietitian.
I am a female pilot.
I am an astronaut.
I am a businesswoman. I am an orthodontist. I am the dermatologist.
I am an interior designer. I am a teacher.
I am an artist. I am a professor in mathematics.
I am the mayor of Ikuruleni.
I am the minister of finance. I am the minister of basic education. I am the Gauteng premier. And I am the president of South
little united and democracy, South Africa able to take its rightful place as a sovereign state in the family of nations. May God protect our people. Nkosi sikelele Africa. Murena buluka sichaba sa Yesu. God save Africa. God bless South Africa. Muzimu fatutenza Africa. Osikatekisa Africa.
They deserve a standing ovation. Like reciting the Constitution and remembering all those names. What a wow. What a wow. We are so proud of you. We are so proud of you. The tragic reality, there is some pervert who sees this as a woman. We need to protect our children, please. We need to protect our children. Without any much further ado, time is so not on our side. And as we celebrate and say happy birthday, Mama Sophia, from one young woman to another young woman, she could not miss this for anything in the world. And she just decided, you know what? Bones, aches, and everything else, I am definitely going to be there to Mamina so that I can sing for Sophia Williams de Brain. Mama Abigail Gupeg.
Thank you. Yeah, bones and aches and, whoa, yonke lonto. A very good evening to you all, lovely people of South Africa, beautiful, and of course, especially the birthday girl. Mama Sophie, we love you. We'll never stop saying thank you to you. Thank you. When the love that makes a woman. It's love that makes a woman. Something told me that this wouldn't last no more. My money is in the past. I had to swallow all my pride and admit to myself, deep down inside, yes, diamonds and pearls, I've had enough. But I'm so much better now, 'cause I'm dressed in love. Yes, it's love that makes a woman. It's love, I tell you, that makes Mama Sophia to break. What she is, what she is, what she is, and what she is. Yeah, boy. Vaganyana, Hona Joale, Kabe Kilis Vaganyana, what she is, what she is, what she is, love that makes a woman. It's love that makes a woman. I know. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm going to dedicate this next song to Mama Sophia. It's a song that was made famous by Betty Midler, and it's titled "Wind Beneath My Wings." You know, in our language, a musical language, we gaula songs, you know. So I decided to gaula this song. That means I put some lyrics of mine. Yes, I did that. So this is a gaulad song, and it goes something like this. Enjoy it, my love. Must have been cold there in that cell to never have sunlight on your face, but you were content to let us shine. You always stayed in that cell. You were the one, we were the ones with all the glory, but you were the one with all the strength. Oh, a beautiful face without a name, a beautiful smile to hide the pain. Did you ever know that you are our hero and everything we would like to be? Yes, we can fly higher than the eagles, for you are the wind beneath our wings. It might have appeared to go unnoticed, but we've got it all here in our hearts. And we want you to know, yes, we know the truth, that we would be nothing without you. Mama, did you ever know? Did you ever know that you are our hero? And everything we would like to be. Yes, we can fly higher, higher than the eagles. For you are the wind beneath our wings. Did you ever know that you are our hero? Everything and everything we would like to be. Yes, we can fly higher and higher. For you are the wind beneath our wings. Yes, you are the wind beneath our wings. Thank you, Mama Sophia. We thank you, and we love you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Oh, man. They don't make them like that anymore. Those voices don't exist anymore. Ladies, let's give a proper round of applause. I know, and gentlemen, ashayina amafleti, please. Thank you so much, Mama Abigail Gubeg. And now, the moment that I promised. Where are the singers, ladies at? Can I hear you, Lilizela? I did promise that nize niti amadode to write. I complete, they call themselves. Let's give them a round of applause. These women are not serious. I said now amadoda. Lilizelani, scream. There you go. Yes.
I love my beautiful woman. I say woman. See. I love my beautiful woman. What? She's so nice, nice. She makes me laugh, laugh. I love my beautiful woman. Whoa, I love this woman. Yeah, I love my beautiful woman. Whoa, my beautiful woman. She's so nice, nice, nice. She makes me laugh, laugh. I love my beautiful woman. Isn't she so beautiful? Isn't she so beautiful? My beautiful woman. Whoa, my beautiful woman. She's so nice, nice, nice. She makes me laugh, laugh. I love my beautiful woman. Hi, bong yam tandu lama we mato. Intombi yam woman. Wong ya itana leto. She's so nice, nice, nice. She makes me laugh, laugh. I love my beautiful woman. I say my beautiful woman, yes. Love of my life. My beautiful woman. Love of my beautiful. The love of my life. Oh,
my love.
Love of my life.
She's the
She's
love of my life.
Love of my life.
The love of my life. The love of my life.
Love of my life.
I go
She
crazy
is the love of
when
my
I
life.
think about her.
Love of my life.
Oh,
The love of my
the
life.
love of my life.
Love of my life.
She's
She
the
is the love of my life. Love of my life. The love of my
The
life.
love of my life.
Love of my life.
She's
She
the
is the
love of my life.
Love of my life. The love of my life. Love of my life. She is the love of my life. Love of my life. The love of my life.
The love of my life.
Love of my life. She is the love of my life. Love of my life. The love of my life. The love of my life. She is the love of my life.
Oh, my
Love of my life.
Oh,
The
darling.
love of my life.
It's time to
Love of my life. She is the love of my life. Love of my life. The love of my life. Love of my life. She is the love of my life.
The love of my
Love of my
The
life.
love of my
The love
love.
of
Oh,
my
the
life.
love of my love.
Love of my life. She is the love of my life. My beautiful woman, 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 woman. My beautiful woman, 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 woman. My beautiful woman, woman, woman. My beautiful woman, woman. My beautiful woman, 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 woman. My my beautiful woman, woman, woman. My beautiful woman, woman.
Oh, I love my beautiful woman. I say my beautiful woman.
My beautiful woman.
I say my beautiful woman.
My beautiful woman.
I say my beautiful woman.
My beautiful woman.
I say my beautiful woman, yes.
I love my beautiful woman.
What?
She's so nice, nice. She makes me laugh, laugh. I love my beautiful woman.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Go.
Lizzie, 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 Lizzie. Akukho ntombi engithandayo. Kuthi mangizule uma ngicabanga ngawe. Uyabu yanini. Standwa sam angazi no muyazina ngiswela maphiko bengizondiza ngindizele phezulu ngize ngifike kuwe uyabu yanini standwa sam Lizzie, Lizzie, Lizzie standwa sami akukho ntombi engithandayo kuthi mangizule uma ngicabanga ngawe uyabu yanini standwa sam ngicabanga iphasi ngicabanga itaxi ngicabanga istimela kodwa sithatha kancane malayikho bengizothenga ibhanoyi uyobo yanini sithandwa sami Lizzy sithandwa sami akukho ntombi engithandayo kuthi mangizule uma ngicabanga ngawe uyobu yanini sithandwa sami uyobu yanini sithandwa sami uyobu yanini sithandwa sami.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Ngishilo mos. Ngishilo mos. Ngathi amadoda ethu. Hayi uzangixolela ubaba uDudumashe namhlanje nguLizzy. Namhlanje nguLizzy. That song was meant for me. Shaya enhlizweni. Nanku Lizzy. Edna Lizzy Muleo. Your birthday, Lena, right? Your birthday, your party. It's nice to be here. Gumnandu kubala. Sigui birthday party. Mama Sophia is still smiling? Thank you. That was the idea, to just have you smile as we celebrate with you. I would like to now call upon messages of support, and I humbly request that do not lead me astray, please. Do not lead me to being the witch that I'm known for, especially when it comes to the microphone. People say horrible things about me, so please do not prove them right. Nyacela, please. Now I'm going to count you down. When it's 2 minutes, almost 3 minutes, that's it. It's a birthday party. We are not here to campaign. These are converted people, right? We all know what to do. Wangit, come 2019, Zuleika is going to be leading. We know exactly what to do. We know where our exes are going to be. And I'm leaving it at that because my boss, Minister of Communications, is in the house. She might just, yabon. All right, messages of support. I'm going to ask Mam Enimohai to please come through as she gives us a message of support, followed by our traditional leader, Umamu Silubane, if you can please come through, and then followed by our ANC NEC member, Mayor Comrade Nomvula Mokonyane, and in that order, please. Mamaka. Malibongwe. Kamala Makhosikazi. Wena Stradom.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The first time for me now to be on the stage, from a young lady to an old lady, and it's my first time. And I cannot take out words because it's my first time. So I've asked my daughter to do it for me.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be speaking on behalf of my mother. Excuse me. My mother and Auntie Sophie go back many, many years, way before I was even born. They met in the 70s in Lusaka at a Women's League's meeting. They attended a few Women's League's meeting after that, and in the 80s, an ANC creche was being opened, and Auntie Sophie asked my mother if she would work there, and my mother continued to work there. My mother remembers Auntie Sophie as always very poised, elegant, good, kind lady, a real woman of valor, always dedicated to her ANC work, always committed, a true inspiration to my mother and to us, because we all got to hear the stories. We stayed by Auntie Sophie's place a few times as well. Happy 80th birthday, Auntie Sophie. May God continue to bless you.
I'm so kind to say I'm very happy to be here today, and happy birthday, and God will give you many more, so that you can still lead us wherever you are. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mama. But I did ask, Guti, in that order, Batu. So I think, yeah, ngono si jump again. Say straight to Mama action, manj. Right? Malibongwe. Kamala Makosikazi. Viva ANC, viva. Etc. etc. Nyazo zoqedelela.
Thank you very much, Program Director. Happy birthday, Auntie Sophie. Happy birthday. Let me acknowledge the lady who has brought all of us here tonight, Auntie Sophie. We all call her Auntie Sophie because she is an aunt to all of us. Let me also acknowledge the leadership of the African National Congress, led by President Cyril Ramaphosa, as well as the former President, Comrade President Jacob Zuma, the leadership of the ANC Women's League, Comrade Batabile, Dlamini, the leadership of the Young Women's Desk, the PYA, everybody who's here, the family of Auntie Sophie. Today is a birthday party. We hear Auntie Sophie, amongst others, to really say to your family, we're quite grateful that you've created a space for us bigger than the space that your family occupies in your life. You gave each and every South African part of your life, part of your beauty, part of your commitment, part of your selflessness. When some of us came to know you, we knew you being this nice, elegant woman who always had a lipstick in order, a skirt with a figure belt, her breast properly collected, and a proper hairstyle. But of importance, once she opens her mouth, you'll understand that indeed she's a true revolutionary. That being a revolutionary also means being presentable. Your soft tone, your soft approach on issues has not actually demonstrated you being soft against the enemy of our people, apartheid. And you have also taught us about how you can actually serve the ANC behind the scenes. The stories about you over lunch, leaving your workplace to go and type the minutes for Comrade Walter Sisulu and go back again to work and go and recruit for your trade union. On the other side, doing record keeping and being a typewriter for the ANC leadership are things that have made all of us to appreciate that in the ANC, it is not the kind of work you do, it is the value of your contribution that you make. And that's why many of us will say, we're standing on your shoulders, we are not like you, we envy you, we wish we can be like you. You are the only one remaining amongst those who led the women to the union buildings. But what has always been quite good about you, you've traveled with us through thick and thin during these trying times post our freedom. And you have always made all of us to say, only the ANC is the home for the total emancipation of women. So I see in Dawo, whether Gumhlungu, whether Gumnandi, you are the one. I can share with people, I'm going to tell them, Auntie Sophie, the call you made, the morning after I ceased to be a premier, after the NEC. Auntie Sophie called me and said, Nomvula, my baby, you know with the ANC, there comes a time when they will identify something else for you, but if they don't identify it, go and do something that will make the ANC to recognize your contribution. And I really, really, Auntie Sophie, appreciate that, because it is through that counseling that I never bothered about the cars that were now taken away, 6 cars that were following me, and many men surrounding me. But what I really appreciated was the fact that you said to me, my baby, wake up, wash, dress decent and elegant as always, go to Lutuli House, the ANC will find a meaningful responsibility for you. Don't push yourself, the ANC will recognize you. Because I think, for me, that's one of the reasons why when I was told that I'm going to come and say a message of support, I said, here comes a chance. Because I wouldn't say that when your body is lying there on a coffin. Thank you for always being there, Auntie Sophie. You've always followed, you've always led, because you've taught many of us that it is the ANC that will find your value. Don't impose yourself on the ANC. Happy birthday. Continue with those beautiful earrings, your lipstick, your French perfume, the decent shoes that you wear, and most importantly, the movement, the walk when you walk into a meeting. You must be felt, your presence. Thank you very much, and happy birthday, Auntie Sophie.
The only title they can never take away from you, Comrade Nomvula, is Mama Action. Because any portfolio you give her, she excels. Sonje, we are two sis. Continue saying to Mamin. Today, in case maybe you're one of those people, you don't know why we're here, and you happen to, by error, somebody just decided to take you out and said, let's just go to a birthday. Mama Sophia Williams-De Bruyn is turned 80, so we are celebrating today as the African National Congress. We say we love you as the people of South Africa. We value your contribution. We thank you very much. I remember an interview where Mama Sophia was asked about her humble beginnings. Letafula lele middle center. Hi. So president, so I can't be loud about it, but I'm just saying. And she was saying that she comes out of a very humble home where fighting injustice came as just second nature to her. Her mother was a very kind and compassionate person. Her father was a little bit of a rascal. So some of these ingredients, you know exactly where they come from. It's her words, not me. I'd like to now call upon Nogukanya Dlamini, who prepared a very special tribute to you, Mama Sophia, as we continue celebrating ibirthday yakho. When we come back from that song, I'm now sounding like I'm going to a commercial break. We are going to have a message from our former president, Jacob Gedleyihlekisa Zuma.
One, two. Happy birthday, Mama Sophie. Where is she? Oh, I understand why Mama Action was doing this. Happy birthday, beautiful woman. Woman of strength. Thank you. This one is for Mom Sophie. The next song is for Mom Sophie, the birthday girl. If you know the song, you can sing along. Come with me down Paradise Road. This way, please. I'll carry your load. This you won't believe. Hey, take my hand to paradise skies, away from heartache, without any pain. I know, 'cause I believe there are. Come on, ladies. The fire's smoking, the sky is blazing. There's a woman waiting with me, and a young man nearly beaten. Oh, for love. Hey, yeah, paradise is almost closing down. The sounds so beautiful. Now it is a birthday, right? Come with me down Paradise Road. This way, please, and I will carry your load. 'Cause I know you must believe. Hey, take my hand down Paradise Lane, away from heartache, with no ending pain. I know, 'cause I believe there are. And a burning bridge behind the fire smoking. The sky is blazing. There's a woman waiting with me, and a young man nearly breathing. Oh, for love. Hey, paradise was almost closing down. Thank you, thank you.
Hey man, iwile le paradise. Shoo. Ngicela itafula back. It's nice to be here. Kumnandi ukuba la. Mama Abigail, song, music is in the right hands. Mama Sophia, the country is in the right hands. The country is in the right hands. We've groomed the right kind of women, and they are coming up. They have voices, just like that 18-year-old Sophia, who knew her worth then. These young women who stand here know her worth because of the work that you did. We thank you and we honor you. I'd like to now call upon, can I have Bomme Badidieta, Bontate Babeta di Flatey, because I know what you'll want to sing. I'll leave it to him. I'm waiting for that album. I'm waiting for that album. Now that he's retired, we need that album. He's been singing for so long for us, and now he has all the time in the world to sing out loud and record an album so that ahambe phezulu sikwazi ukuthenga umculo wakhe. Siraise ama-funds for the African National Congress. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our former president, Comrade Jacob Gedleyihlekisa Zuma, who's going to deliver uNcamalala, aka Ncams, aka Ncamza, azosinikeza a message for her birthday girl. Wow.
No, don't, leave it. Ufuna ukuyikhuphula baba. Okay, okay, no problem. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Director of the program, for the opportunity. When you said I must sing, somebody said not struggle songs, any other song. Now I said, well, the song I was going to sing was stolen by the guys who were here. Legalize. Because it was sung when Mama to Brain was very young. And coming after her, we were very young, but we sang that song. You can imagine. Masithi siyokuthengela ibhanoyi. Uyasibona lo ndaba, Lizi ngokuthengela ibhanoyi. Kodwa singakwazi nokuthenga ibhayisikili. But thank you very much, Comrade President of the African National Congress and of the country, Secretary General of the ANC, and Deputy Secretary General, and those are the officials I saw this evening. I don't know whether I missed the other one or others. Comrade President of the Women's League and the Deputy, and the Secretary General of the Women's League. These are key ones I saw here. I did not see other leagues. Are they here? Okay. The young ones, you know, the ANC Women's League, and all the young people who are here, and those who are old ones. I'm not going to be talking because there are comrades who are going to speak. So I'm not delivering anything. I'm just coming to say to Comrade Sophie, happy birthday. Comrade Sophie is one of the few who are remaining, who have seen things in the struggle, who have seen the ANC change from one form to the other, who has been part of the initiatives that indeed encouraged freedom fighters to come in numbers into the ANC, particularly the women. That is why at a young age, she could be identified as one of those who could go in and knock at the office of Stradom to deliver the papers they were carrying with a message to say we are not going to carry a dome pass. Now, you young ones, you don't know. At that time, they were very vocal. But ngeke thina siphathe dome pass sibe izidome njengamadoda ethu. Yeah, they were saying so in Zulu. So they did not want to be dome with the dome pass. But she's one of the comrades who can tell stories. And I was saying to Comrade Jesse, has she started writing? Because she has to record her experiences. Because no more such great comrades and women who are around, very few. Part of the reason I was saying so because she looks so young. I always admire her and say, my good sister. That's how I call her. You are wonderful, and you are just as you have been. I remember we used to meet in one shop in Lusaka and greet and have a bit of a chat. which was one of the shops that was a shop of the diplomats. If we happened, because we had no money, we were not being paid, besiphila ngo-aholo, those who were in Lusaka. Comrade was in charge of logistics. But if you had been traveling, you are given some few dollars to take you along, and we'll make it a point that you keep a few, so that when you get to Lusaka, you go to that diplomatic shop, just to get something out of the way, not from aholo. She was, as you see her, composed, well-dressed, beautiful, soft-spoken. She has seen the ANC when it was not banned, when it was a powerful organization in the country, mobilizing the people throughout the corners of the country. She was there when we had the first alliance. The alliance of the ANC, who was leading the alliance, the Colored People's Congress, the Indian Congress, the Congress of Democrats, and the South African Congress of Trade Unions. That powerful alliance that indeed shook South Africa at the closure of the 1950s. As well as the women. Whilst we were talking about non-racialism as our approach, even before we could write the Freedom Charter, that we, the people of South Africa, that South Africa belongs to all who live in it, having declared, they formed the Federation of African Women, which was non-racial. It did not even follow the alliance of the time, because the alliance of the time was because by law, we could not belong to one organization. So, however, different organizations could come together. That is what gave birth, in another sense, to the then Congress Alliance, which then, in a sense, put into practice our policies of non-racialism in South Africa. She was there. It was her activities and prominent work she was doing with the leadership that made the South African women to choose her as one of those who must carry the message with the other three. Also representing the rainbow kind of comrades that were fighting for our liberation. She was young, but brave, but hard-working. Not talking too much, but working too much. She has been there at all times when the ANC made the call for action. She can tell you how beautiful the organization was at the time. But saw the ANC being banned and other organizations, but also saw the organization taking a new posture in terms of fighting for freedom. There was an experience in Southern Africa that oppressors, particularly in Rhodesia, will ban organizations, and those organizations will change names. They will be banned again. They will change names. But in South Africa, when the ANC was banned in 1960, there was a big debate. What do we do? Do we defy? We, the young ones at the time, wanted to defy. Do we change the name? the debate was, you can't change the name. Because it is not the name, ANC, that is being burned, but it is the ideas. Even if you change it into another name, it will be burned again. There's an experience just across the Limpopo. And the decision was to go underground and therefore operate as an ANC, but underground. Change form, she was there. When the ANC declared the armed struggle, she was there. When the time to go to exile, she was there. She saw the ANC operating in exile. And a very gradual process of emergence of a new alliance. The alliance, because SAGTU remained operating more outside. It was never necessarily banned, and therefore continued working with the ANC. And the party became part of the alliance. It was a process, adapting to new conditions. And she was there. She saw the ANC changing from one form to the other, adapting to new conditions. Part of the reason I was saying, has she wrote something like a book? Not just one, many. I think she should, because she's still very young. Very young. You can't believe she's 80. Yabona insimbi endala, yithi lapho. Not many years before me, I follow, but a little bit of a distance. How many years? Yes. So it's absolutely important that she writes, because the manner in which she operated and the kind of giants she operated with, she can tell a direct story about what happened. Not that I heard, I saw, but she would say, I was there when this happened. So I plead with you, my good sister, just write. I've been told it's not difficult to write, because I was saying to people, well, I don't think I can sit and write a book, you know. They said, no, you can do it. These days it is easy. So I think we can, because your experience, your knowledge will be a good thing for the generations to come of the African National Congress. There was a lady, absolutely outstanding lady comrade, Comrade Dubrain, who saw it all, so that people will love and treasure the ANC. That this lady was among those who remained to tell the story. So you must tell the story, my good sister. It is absolutely important. I'm pleading with you. Particularly because I know one of the weaknesses we have in the ANC is that the political education, much as we talk about it all the time, including in every conference, but it's not easy to see it going for a variety of reasons. Some, when we talk about the political education, they think you must build a big hall, a school, and then have people to come attending classes. And precisely because of that trend of thinking, we have never developed political education. Political education means sitting down with comrades, talking politics, not only behind or under the roof. Otherwise, if you say so, you'll finish 20 years before you can say we have produced so much. Politics, you must learn on the job. You must be corrected as you move forward. You must discuss. You must answer questions. You must clarify issues. That's what political education is all about. If we can't do that, then let us write, my good sister, so that those who are there, who have the courage and the energy to read, they will read and understand what happened. But I can tell you, even if you read a political book, it doesn't mean you know it. We've just read it. It needs education. It needs education. I've proved that. I was helping young people recently who wanted to learn about Communist Manifesto. And we took 3 months discussing I think it was about 2 chapters. And they said, but what is this? We read these things in a week and finish, so too small. But for the first time, they said, we've understood what this means. Because we discussed it. It was a discussion. It was a research. It was everything so that you can understand. Even in the ANC politics, that's what happens. I'm saying you will be making a contribution to political education about the ANC, the greatest movement that I've come to know. Greater, not just in South Africa, not just in Africa, but in the world. Those who are politically recognize the ANC as one of the greatest movements that has ever existed. And there are reasons why that happened. There are reasons why it is still going strong up to this day. And that's what ANC people ought to read and know from a comrade like Comrade Good Sister. She always calls me to check how you are, Comrade Zuma. Because we come from very far with her. Not in the trenches of women, not at all. But we saw the ANC when it was still not banned. We saw it going underground. We saw it emerging very powerfully in the world. ANC has influenced the globe in one form or the other in the area of liberation movements. And it will continue to do so as our country continues to do so. So we are very happy to have an opportunity to come this evening, my good sister, to say to you, happy birthday. And I wish you could have almost half of the years you have in the days to come. You have been lucky to see the hard side of the struggle, and we saw liberation, and also the hard times of ruling a country. As OR said to all of us, that you think it is difficult to fight to liberate yourself. You will realize when you run government how difficult it is to run a country. So we have seen it all. We wish you a good health. We wish you prosperity, which I know you have always had in you. You are rich in your own self. And you have always been a good comrade, considerate, a mother, a comrade that you feel comfortable when you see. Continue to do so. And I am happy indeed that you can make us come together like this to come and say happy birthday, our comrade, our hero, our leader of a special type. We all wish you good health and be wonderful and be with us and continue as long as your strength is there to make a contribution as you do. Thank you very much and happy birthday. Thank you.
And then former president says, I'm not going to make a speech. That was not a speech. That was just a message. Happy birthday. What an orator. You can listen to Ngamalala the whole evening and the whole day. And you would be just feeding off every word. I feel like I've just heard Umkhabul. We need this. As we get too much, we must be khabulad as well, so that we go out and spread the right message and say all the correct things as we take the African National Congress forward and take South Africa forward. And right now, I would like to call upon, I'm sure my fellow teammates are ready. We have gifts that we would like to give to Mama Sophia de Brain. And I would like to call upon our Deputy President of the African National Congress Women's League, Messi Sintombela, to present a very special, I'm speaking one word at a time to give them time to bring the stuff, but I know she does it her way. Okay, so we're swapping. All right. So we're swapping the program. All right. It makes sense because it will be untidy. When we open the gifts and, you know, it will be untidy on stage. And we are very tidy people. Worse when we're celebrating Mama Sophia. She's very neat and tidy. So as we move right along, I'd like to call upon the president of the ANC Women's League, Meba Tabile Dlamini. As Meba Tabile Dlamini comes through, I would like to just say these words. If you don't know these words, then you're not South African. I want to be there when the people start to turn it around, when they triumph over poverty. I want to be there when the people win the battle against AIDS. I want to lend a hand. I want to be there for the alcoholic. I want to be there for the drug addict. I want to be there for the victim of violence and abuse. I want to lend a hand. Wena, my president.
Malibongwe Kamala makhosikazi wathinta abafazi wathinta imbokodo. Director of the program, and Sophie, Miss Birthday, the veterans of the struggle that are with us here today, and Sophie's family is also here with us, and we are very grateful that you left everything and came to celebrate the life of Aunt Sophie with us. The SG of the ANC, the DSG, I call her Majes, of the ANC, members of the NEC of the ANC, the former president of the ANC and the country, the deputy president of the ANC Women's League, Mantom Domb, the SG of the Women's League is also here. Other members of the Women's League are here with us, NEC members, and they know our culture that when we speak in our event, we come and stand around here to pass the message as a team. The Youth League leadership is also here. The YCL leadership is also here. Young Women's Desk is here. The chairperson of the Gender Commission is here. The chairperson of the coalition is here. Women's Coalition. I haven't seen PM Progressive Women's Movement of South Africa. My colleagues at work. We planned this very early in the year, but unfortunately, a lot of comrades passed on. We kept on postponing. But the time that was worst or worse in Auntie Sophie's life was the passing on of Mam Win. And we thought we should have enough time, give her time, and then have this day on Africa Day. So tina inkethe yethu ilingana nathi. That is why we came here. And we paid long ago, so we don't owe the hotel people. And Sophie, this comes from the women of South Africa. It comes from the bottom of our hearts. And we want to say to you, the future is bright. The future is bright because of the work you have done for the organization. The future is bright because you managed to make us who we are today. Some of us know you. When you take over a person, yeah. And when you arrive, you arrive. When you say, Batabile, you know what? Many people are wondering why I'm not chewing gum today. It's because a week ago, Aunt Sophie said in a meeting full of women, hey, some of you are members of parliament, but they chew gum. And I see them on the screen, and I get very disappointed because they are leaders. And I knew who she was exactly addressing. We also know that during your time as a leader, as the organizer in the trade union movement, you used to ensure that when women come to the meetings of the ANC Women's League, whether they were farm workers or domestic workers, they were supposed to look smart so that even the madam shivers and know that we are equal. You've taught us humility, respect, not looking down upon people. You are down to earth. You are a real woman. A woman that was able to keep her family together during difficult times, but also you were able to keep your family in the African National Congress. You've also taught us, because some of us were not like praying, we thought it was not fashionable. You taught some of us that to pray is not wrong. And Sophie, you are a very peaceful person. I know the media is going to give its interpretation to the invitation of the former president and the president to this event. I know they are going to say we are undecided. We want to say today, and Sophie, to President Cyril Ramaphosa and former President Zuma, we love both of you. We want to use Auntie Sophie's birthday to promote unity. We want to use your calmness to say to South Africans and members of the ANC, stop dividing the ANC. And therefore, no one must interpret our invitation for us. But also, we've asked both of them that we are taking them to Mantumba, a certain cave in the Free State, close to the border. So your people must go there and check your safety and ensure that the place is safe, because we have to go there. It is a must that we go to Mantumba. And what is good is that Mantumba is where the ANC was founded. And therefore they have both agreed. We want to preach the spirit of unity. We want to preach the spirit of peace. And yes, Aunt Sophie has told us that, my child, there was no salary in the ANC before. And we used to be deployed at any time. And now you have a salary and you have a position. And it's like we've taken the struggle as fashion. And the struggle will never be a fashion. A struggle needs commitment. It needs people that understand the ANC properly. Comrades, some of us come from the Natal Midlands. And it was difficult for the ANC to shape us when we were elected to senior structures, because we were always ready to go out and fight. So when we came to work, we were wearing tights and whatever. And Abo and Sophie, Mepeta, came to us to say, you can't come to work like this. So we've learned a lot from you. Actually, at all times, what we have started doing is to take notes when Aunt Sophie speaks, because she is the walking history of the African National Congress as well as the Women's League. This year we are celebrating the life of Mama Sisulu, as well as Utatu Mandela. We are celebrating excellence. And let us walk the talk. You can't celebrate the life of Mama Sisulu nega Madiba ungekho honest. Comrade leaders, Utatu Madiba, working with our comrade Ujesi, when you were out of order, he would call you and tell you where to get off. And you would not fight. You would know that the leadership of the ANC has spoken. And that was it. And because of our situation, some of us were very cheeky. I was taught by the ANC Mina not to beat someone. Not to beat my children. If I was never a member of the ANC, my children, I'm sure, would be in the streets. But the ANC teaches you even to groom your kids properly, to love members of the ANC. So, comrades, let's try, it's difficult, and learn from Sophia. We know it's not easy. When Sophia came to the Women's League to teach us administration, it was tough. So, whatever we are trying to do today are the lessons we have learned from women like Sophia, Mamuini, Mebetha, Me. So let's try our best. And we must also remember, we are grooming future leaders. And you cannot speak in tongues when grooming a future leader. So, comrades, ama NEC members today angibalekelile. I don't know why. Oh, okay. But one other thing that I have to do is to introduce our keynote speaker, the President of the ANC and the Republic of South Africa, the former unionist, the former SG of the ANC, the former Deputy President of the ANC. He also served in the NEC of the ANC for many years. And I remember when someone was chairperson of the ANC, he used to go complain and say, "Oh, Bantu, why am I not given an opportunity to speak?" It was the time of Comrade Tyra. Comrade Cyril worked with Comrade former president as Secretary General and Deputy Secretary General. But also, he was part of the team that led or negotiated for our country. He was the first SG to see the elections of the ANC. He was also the chairperson of the Constitutional Committee. And that was not an easy thing. I remember when they came to the Natal Midlands to report about the sunset clauses. It was difficult. It was not easy. When they came to the NEC to report about the new flag, it was difficult. It was not easy. Members of the ANC NEC kicked dust. But you know what assisted us? It was the firm leadership of Madiba. Because Madiba Wifuni, he would call you aside and deal with you accordingly. Comrades, today, the president is leading the country. And therefore, he is going to speak as president of the ANC and the country and wish Aunt Sophie a happy birthday, but also wish South African women progress and ensure that that progress takes place. It is not just spoken. So, one other thing, today we were voting. So that is why other comrades are coming late. Usis Nkosazana has reported as subtle that we dodged in parliament. That is why we came early. So, okay, it's fine, Sis Nkosazana. But I'm going to ask that we all sing to welcome the president. Ya ubani kadlamini kuyaculwa phela. Phakama 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 Ramaphosa ixesha phakama 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 Ramaphosa ixesha lifikile phakama phakama Ramaphosa ixesha lifikile.
Unity.
Anda. Viva ANC, viva. Viva Kosatu, viva. Happy birthday, Comrade Sophie de Bruyn, happy birthday. Program Director, Auntie Sophie and your wonderful family who are all here. Former President of the African National Congress and the Republic, Comrade Jacob Gedleyihlekisa Zuma. Secretary General of the ANC, Deputy Secretary General, NEC members of the African National Congress, President of the ANC Women's League and President of the ANC Women's League and Secretary General and their TG,
and NEC members of the Women's League, the chairperson of the Gender Commission, COSATU leadership and leaders of the SACP and leaders of SANCO, and all other leaders of various formations, and comrades and friends. It's a wonderful joy and a pleasure to be here. Vali Musa was a minister of cooperative governance and local government in Comrade Madiba's government. I think also Comrade Thabo Mbeki's government. So given that type of position, he had to travel to various parts of our country to meet people in local government, as currently our comrades Zwelim Kize and Andries Nel and Obed Bapela do as they travel around the country. He happened to go to a town called, I think, Pampierstad. And when he got there, he met the councillors. And he came back and he said, Broer, I was in this town. They have 15 councillors. And he says, 13 of them are women, and only 2 are men. And men are really oppressed in that town. There are only a few of us who are men today here. And I can say that we're not really feeling oppressed. Even if you were to try, we're not oppressed. Auntie Sophie came in and greeted me in the holding room. And she hugged me as she always does. But today she said, I'm sorry, Comrade President, I may have left lipstick on your face or your shirt. And I said, oh, Auntie Sophie, that's the type of lipstick I'd like to take home. So, Auntie Sophie, it's a real joy for us, and the presence of so many people bears testimony to the special place that you occupy in our hearts. In our movement, we've gotten used to celebrating our leaders who have departed, and we meet and we say all manner of wonderful things when our stalwarts have left us. But today, this is very special because we are given a very rare opportunity to say all the great and wonderful things about someone that we love dearly who is still with us. So we wish that you could stay longer with us and, yes, be able to write that book that Comrade Jacob Zuma has said you should write. But whilst he is telling you to write that book, I was sitting there and looking at him. Ngithi wena sewuqalile na. Because as he left, I kept, well, even before he left, we kept telling him as the top 6 that he should actually start writing. And he kept saying, no, ngizobhala when I'm on, pension. And he was looking forward to being on pension. So, pension manje sifuna ukuthi abhale. He must write, and I'm going to be a class monitor. So, loku ngiya ngiyocheck ukuthi iyabhalwa na le ncwadi esifunayo. We indeed count ourselves as being lucky, and this is pure joy for us that we've been fortunate enough to have this great opportunity. We are happy that you are alive, Comrade Sophie, to hear what we want to say about you. We are celebrating you because throughout your life, you remained true and very true indeed to the ideals which represent the best aspirations of our people and constitute the cornerstone of our national democratic revolution. From as early as 18 or 19, you were amongst the leaders of the heroic Women's March to the Union Buildings in 1956 to demand, as we all know, freedom, justice, and equality, using your common rejection of the repressive past laws as a rallying point for struggle. Your generation mobilized over 20,000 women to participate in that historic march, all of whom wanted to put an abrupt end to the triple oppression of the women in our country on the basis of their gender, their race, and their class. We owe you and your generation, and Sophie, the living and the departed, a debt of gratitude for your commitment to the struggle. To this day, the picture that was captured in 1956 of you, Auntie Sophie, together with Rahima Musa, Helen Joseph, and Lillian Goy, remains a very, very iconic moment and a telling one. It is difficult to tell the story about that march without making reference to that very poignant image that that picture pointed. And for us who were either born or not born yet, it is that image that remains embedded in our minds about the bravery of the women of this country, that 20,000 of them would take on the might of an apartheid regime, and not only in the streets, but go to the citadel of apartheid repressive authority, the Union Buildings, and go and knock on that dark door and say, these are our demands. We applaud you for that. And let me also add, when one looks at that picture, I see beautiful, revolutionary women. You would never have thought that women who are revolutionaries would be as beautiful as you all looked. All of you. I mean, we are very few men today here. All of you looked, I mean, you looked the part. You were clothed, you were dressed to kill, and you were just there to dazzle everyone. And that photograph is quite an iconic one. And we thank you for your beauty, a beauty which you still retain to this day. Each time I see Auntie Sophie, I say, Auntie Sophie, you look so beautiful. I wish I was younger when I was around when you were at that age. You, Baba Zuma, there are some young men who are getting excited about this at the back there. You can see, you were responding to the clarion call. A clarion call, Watinta Bafazi, Watinti Bogoto. The women of 1956 assumed the position of being the backbone of our society and correctly defined their struggles in the context of the broader struggle for national liberation. You never saw that march as just being a march against the past laws. You positioned that march as being a much broader one against the apartheid system. Auntie Sophie, you and your generation knew that your emancipation would one day become the general measure of the emancipation of a society as a whole. Today, as the ANC and our government, we continue in our efforts and commitment for for the creation of an ideal society that is non-racial, non-sexist, democratic, and prosperous. As former President Nelson Mandela once said, freedom cannot be achieved unless women have been emancipated from all forms of oppression. Our endeavors must be about the liberation of the woman, the emancipation of the man, and the liberty of the child, close quotes. And Sophie, today, we want to tell you that your movement in its entirety fully appreciates the great personal cost at which your involvement in political activity came. Your family suffered, your children, your extended family, and some of whom are here today. And we say we are grateful that you were able to donate Ansoni to the struggle so that she could contribute to this mass movement of our people against oppression. Given that those were the darkest days of the heightened oppression in our country, the risk that you took by choosing to participate in the struggle is truly unimaginable. As we celebrate you today, we do so in acknowledgement of the immense sacrifices you made as a person in the struggle for the democratization of our beloved country. Due to your contribution you made in 1956, and you and your collective, we continue to celebrate August the 8th as Women's Day, and it remains a very important day in our political calendar. We do this lest we forget. We do this so that we must never forget the role that you played and the struggle that you waged for the liberation of our country. We do not celebrate your life and your work in vain, Auntie Sophie. We do so because your struggle has laid a very strong foundation for us to wage other important and urgent struggles, life-threatening struggles for that matter, that have to do with the abuse of women and children in our country, the brutal killing of women, the rape of women, the attacks that are perpetrated against women is not only most concerning, but it is totally unacceptable and must be stopped. Patriarchy is still pervasive in our country. Men still believe that they own women. Men still believe that they can control the lives of women. Discrimination against women is still with us in society, in the home, and at work. Women still earn less than men for doing exactly the same job. You have taught us to struggle against injustice. This is a struggle that, Auntie Sophie, we will continue to engage in. The placing of the Ministry of Women in the presidency gives us an instrument to fight for women's rights. We will engage in this struggle. It was a joy yesterday, day before yesterday rather, in the presidency debate to listen to Comrade Batabile Dlamini. She spoke with a great deal of enthusiasm and passion and commitment about the struggle that has to be engaged in for women. I applauded her and I said, this time you spoke with so much conviction as a minister of women, and I am going to join you, as president, to make sure that the ideals of women are achieved. We will work together to make the struggle of women our struggle as well. Because in 1956, the women of our country took up the struggle. And it was not limited to them not wanting to hold dom passes. It was engaging in a struggle against oppression. And for them, it was also extremely dangerous. Dangerous because they went to the heart of Afrikanerdom. They went to the heart of Afrikanerdom oppression, right at the union buildings. Anything could have happened to them. So we have no choice but to take up this struggle for women, champion their rights, so that their rights can also be achieved and won. And this we will do, and this I will do as well. The economic empowerment of women is an imperative. We listened to young Zuleka Patel here, the future president of our country. We listened to her speaking with a great deal of passion. And she was essentially saying the expropriation of land without compensation in the end should also be about empowering the women of our country. And this is what we will keep an eye on and focus on, because it is the women indeed who work the land. It is the women of our country who even know better how to work the land. It is them that we must empower. So as we roll out the implementation of this policy, we will want women to be in the forefront of benefiting on this one. Comrades, today we are also celebrating Africa Day and the 55th anniversary since the formation of the OAU and now the AU. We must use this day to assess the ground that we have covered on our path towards the total liberation of our continent from the shackles of imperialism. As we celebrate Africa Day, this also presents us with a wonderful opportunity to look at what remains to be done, especially with regard to building peace, to grow our economies, and to have inclusive growth in all our economies on the continent. The ANC and South Africa must not miss the opportunity to champion the cause of our continent, especially Agenda 2063. We must emulate the courageous and visionary leaders who founded the OAU and who strive to create an Africa which is free from hunger, disease, and underdevelopment. An Africa which is at peace with itself and the world, and which will claim its rightful place in the community of nations. Only the ANC and other liberation movements can and must successfully advance the cause of the total emancipation of the continent of Africa. The ANC, by virtue of being the oldest liberation movement on the continent, must lead discourse about the regeneration and the renaissance of Africa. Without turning this auspicious occasion into something it is not, let me also say that the contribution that we need to continue making to regenerate our continent is quite immense. And we are playing our part and will continue to play our part, because Africa is far too precious, is far too special, and we, as South Africa, as part of Africa, must be making the contribution that is expected of us. We have already made many contributions. One of those that did move the needle, that did prove that indeed we do have the people who can make a meaningful contribution, was when we deployed our own sister, the daughter of our country, Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, to go and be the chair of the AU Commission, where she did a fantastic job, and we thank her for this. So as we celebrate Africa Day, we remember those who have made a contribution, and today we say, Comrade Nkosazana, thank you for the work that you did in Addis Ababa. Exactly a week ago, we successfully launched the ANC Tumamina campaign. At the center of this important campaign is the repositioning of our ANC branches to become agents of change in our communities. We must use this campaign to narrow the social distance that developed over the years. Through this campaign, the ANC will now be known as something else, but as nothing else but a caring organization that works tirelessly and spares no effort when addressing our people's problems, when addressing the challenges that our communities are facing. As members of the ANC, we must play our roles in ensuring the success of this campaign. We need to redouble our efforts as members of the ANC to work tirelessly to foster the unity and the renewal of the African National Congress that we were charged with by our 54th conference. That conference took a decision that the ANC must focus on unity. Unity has to be seen in action. It must not only be in a resolution of our conference. Our leaders must be united, and it is when our leaders are united that our members, and indeed the nation, will also be united. When I came in, I had heard that Comrade Jacob Zuma would be here, so I started looking around and I couldn't see him. And finally I saw him sitting there in the corner, and I went to greet him. And we hugged, as we always do. The hugs will always be there. For those who think that the hugs will go away, the hugs will be there. And he said, "Kuhamba njani mfana kuti?" Ngathi, "Hey, umuntu uyafukuza la. Wathi vele kunjalo mfana kuti. Umningi lo msebenzi ofana ukuthi wenze." And we exchanged a few thoughts there. The one thing that he never really told me, he never told me this, and I'm still going to interrogate him on this when we meet in a corner somewhere. Ukuthi, when you do this job of being president of South Africa, he wire every hour of the day, usemsebenzini. I would have changed my mind. Let us all therefore redouble our efforts and work tirelessly to ensure an overwhelming victory for the ANC in 2019. This is going to be a most important election, and it is an election that we must win. The victory that we must gain must be so overwhelming as to prove that the African National Congress was put here rightfully by our people to continue running this country so that we can deliver a better life for all of them. Comrade Sophie, we are happy that we'll most probably run and win this election with you around still, and we will be very pleased to take you on our door-to-doors whenever you can, because I know that if we take you to some special places, you'll be able to charm a lot of people. Just by looking at you, they will vote for the ANC. Happy birthday. I want to end by saying, when Comrade Zuma and I were elected into the Secretariat of the ANC in 1991, the one person who assisted us greatly in our work as we came into office as Secretary General and Deputy Secretary General was Comrade Sophia de Bruyn. She was there guiding us through the administration of the African National Congress, and her knowledge and her capability and the efficiency that she displayed is something of legends. Now, I would like to thank her personally. As having worked in our office, the SGO, I've brought Comrade Sophie a handbag for you. This is a epile. Now, I want to give it to her myself today. Because Comrade Sophie used to carry a briefcase to work. Now that she's in retirement, I decided that I actually want to give her a handbag so that Abe lady El Pelele now in retirement. So, Comrade Sophie, I hand over this handbag to you and say thank you very much for having been supportive to myself and Comrade Jacob Zuma when we were Secretary General and Deputy Secretary General. Happy birthday, Tumela. Happy birthday. She gave me lipstick again. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. In my other life, Mr. President, I double as a journalist, and I report people who gossip about others. People gossip about you. They call you Buffalo, and I would like to correct that they're thinking that it's Buffalo the animal, can't it's Buffalo soldier, because you do the work. And they also call you Cupcake. They are agreeing. They call you Cupcake, it's befitting, because you truly are a sweet human being. I want to think of a handbag for Mama Sophia. And packaged like that. I'm so touched. And then you carry on and decide that half of my earnings, actually I don't need it. So I'm going to donate it to good use. In the true spirit of Tumamina, Sizoya, Mr. President, Emashibini, Sizoya Mabeshini, Sizoya Mikukwini, Sizohamba Sihambisi message. In the spirit of Mama Sophia, Situme. I would like now to call upon Mesisi, our Deputy President of the African National Congress Women's League, Mesisi Ndombela, who is going to do amawazawaza. Leza dumengazo.
We are here just to come and say, Ms. Sophie, thank you very much. We are what we are today because of you. So I don't want to waste any time. We are just here to come and say thank you very much and say happy birthday. NEC members, lekanyo lo ahe. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
No, you can sit down, you can sit down. You can sit down, you can sit down.
Happy
Teboha go utlwa hantle man.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
NEC members, can you please join us here? Can you all sit down, please? The ANC Women's League president, can you present the president from the ANC Women's League? Happy. Hey!
Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy, 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 happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy, 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 happy birthday. Happy, happy birthday to you. Happy, happy, happy. Happy, 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 happy birthday. Happy, happy birthday to you. Happy, 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 happy birthday.
One,
Happy, happy birthday to you. Happy, happy, happy. Happy, 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 happy birthday. Happy, happy birthday to you. Happy, happy, happy. Happy, 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 happy birthday. Happy, happy birthday to you. Happy, 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 happy birthday. Happy, happy birthday to you. Happy, happy.
President, you can tumor us everywhere since our hands umsebenzi. Happy birthday, Mama Nkosazana. Just to say thank you very much for us. Over to you. Lalelan, le sofa le doesn't belong to your grandchildren. It's yours. You must use it every blessed day when you feel you want to rest. You must know that the women of the Free State are saying, uhlale and relax and massage and do all those things. And thank you very much for everything.
Zali Sitinga Gala Chico Kosie Nani Sonki
Sophie, I think you were saying I must just go there and check that bag, how is it, whether it's Louis Vuitton or whatever. You have asked me to go and check. Mama?
Amandla. Malibongwe. Malibongwe. Wathinta bafazi. Uzokufa finish. Okay. Bathi cela nihlale phansi.
I feel like saying order, comrades. Order, comrades. Can you please take your seats? Can you please take your seats? Hey, hula stulo sahau. Those who are taking pictures, please not yet. Can you please take your seats? I am going to request security, yadi white shirts, to do their thing. Babankare tlabakuka. Can you please take your seats? We would like to just conclude the program. This is the one dinner that you eat the next day. So please help us to eat dinner today still. Please take your seats. Everyone is seated. Madam, over to you.
Thank you, President of the Women's League, President of the ANC and the country, former President of the ANC and the country, NEC members of the Women's League and ANC, and most importantly, Aunt Sophie and her family, and all the guests. I was supposed to have been here earlier, but I'm sure you got our apology why we were late. But because it's late, I'm not going to say much other than to say, Aunt Sophie, thank you to you and your generation for bequeathing us a South Africa better than the one you inherited. Because as women, we are able to stand here, do what we are doing because of your struggles. Because as women, we are able to stand here and even contest the president of the ANC because of what you did. And after contesting, work for the ANC and the president because of what you taught us. So I won't go any further than to say we are very grateful to you for your courage, for your commitment, your dedication, and for the love of your people and freedom. Thank you very much, Aunt Sophie. Amandla. Viva Aunt Sophie, viva! Viva! Viva Aunt Sophie, viva! Viva! Long live Aunt Sophie, long live! Long live! Long live Aunt Sophie, Aunt Sophie, Aunt Sophie, Aunt Sophie, Aunt Sophie, Aunt Sophie, long live!
Oh, yeah, Aunt Sophie, I'm sure you want to say something. No, we just want you to say something while we are here, sitting, relaxing. This is yours. It's new from the box.
Can you say something? Yes, thank you, Comrade President, thank you. Comrade, thank you. Can I not stand there?
Podium.
All right. Thank you, comrades. If you can only know how I feel, it is so overwhelming, and it's something that I never expected. I never expected a birthday, and my children know that I'm not a birthday person, but I'd like to acknowledge, I don't know how much time I have because the program... Okay, thank you. But Comrade President of the ANC, Comrade Cyril Ramaphosa, I'd like to thank you very much for the most generous and kind words that you have spoken about me. And I know what you have said about the Women's League, you mean every word of it. And it's not by accident that the woman ministry is in the office
of the presidency, because that is where it ought to be. And it being in that room, in that office, we know that you will carry out and support our President of the Women's Affairs until everything that women need and what women strive for will be manifest. So thank you, Comrade President of the country. Thank you very much for your support for women's causes. Thank you very much. Our former President, Comrade Jacob Zuma, you have said so much, and it is so poignant. You have taken me down memory lane. You have reminded me of the times inside the country when it was tough. And you have reminded me of the times in exile where we both worked. And you reminded me again of our coming back, and you and I, together with Comrade Cyril, situated in the office of the Secretary General. I remember those days that we worked together. And to say to you, the shop that you spoke about, the name is the Duty Free. And Comrade Zuma, the book that you also mentioned, you have thrown out that challenge to me. But I think you too also have a challenge for yourself in writing your own book. And so you and I have a task before us, and we will share our ideas and so on. I will come to you because you are already far ahead of me. I must say, I have started on my book, but it's in 1 step forward, 3 steps backward. And I was saying that I was saying to my daughter Sonia the other day, that I must remove myself if I really need to get serious. Because there are so many interruptions, and I need to also get the help of comrades like Comrade Kuluye, who is an author in his own right, who had also written. And there are many other authors that we can draw upon, and they are always willing to help. And so many have come to me to say to me, I want to write your book. I want to write. And I say, I'm writing, I'm right. First I said, I'm going to, and now I'm saying I'm writing my own book. Because like you said, Comrade Zuma, nobody can write better than yourself. And our Comrade Secretary General, Comrade Ace Makashula, I'm now acknowledging all of you as I'm going on. And to say to you, Comrade Ace, you remember those days when we came back from exile, and what Comrade Zuma and Comrade Cyril has spoken about, the administration in the General Secretary's office, and there was this policy in the ANC that the ANC only pays for what is now called the top 6. That time it wasn't called the top 6. So the ANC pays, during those days you would come because in your province you would, what we call, over-employ. So there's never money for paying those extra people. And so you would run your legs off to come and plead for money. And the ANC would say to you that we only pay for the secretary, the chairperson, and the executive members. They didn't even ever dream that they will be called as a top 6. So I remember those days, Comrade Ace, and then you would turn to me and speak to me, and I would plead to Comrade Tom and Kobe. And so you would go away back to the province with a little bit of money extra to pay those people. I would like to acknowledge, Comrade, our Deputy Secretary General, Comrade Jasmine. Because everybody calls her Jessie. And I think she appreciates, and she will always say to others, it's only Aunt Sophie that calls me Jasmine on my proper name. And those are the days, Comrade Jasmine, that I remember, the hard days when we all worked in Shell House. And we all got 2,000 a month, including Tata Madiba. And it was again when Comrade Cyril entered became Secretary General, that things changed a little bit. And then we drew up what we call a salary scale. And according to the salary scale and where comrades were situated, that is what they were being paid, a little bit more than those 2,000 a month. Comrade Patabile, you have also said a lot of great things about me, and I do appreciate it, and I thank you out of the bottom of my heart. I worked with you, Comrade Tabile. You were mentioning it earlier, of our time that we worked together in the Women's League when you were the Secretary General. And all those things that you spoke about, I remember the days with Mum, Bertha, Mashaba, and all of us. And you, Comrade Tabile, you always went that extra mile in whatever task you were doing. You were also very good when you put your mind to something, you try to finish it. You complete it. You never left things for the next day. You also respected us, the older women, although you said earlier that you were very cheeky. I couldn't sense that cheekiness during that time. Maybe you pulled yourself straight when you came to our. But anyway, I'd like to remember you as that respectful, disciplined, and dedicated hard worker that I know you to be. And I want to say to you, Comrade Batabile, carry on the way you are carrying on, leading the Women's League. Because I think that is where your love lies. That is where your heart lies, working with women and putting your best foot forward from day to day, molding and grooming the younger generation under you, and always putting a good example for them. And for that I thank you. I thank you for the time that we worked together. I thank you for the love that you had for us elders. And I thank you for your dedication and your hard work. I want to also acknowledge all the NEC members of the ANC Women's League. I worked with all of you in another NEC where I was part of you. Comrade Nomvula Mokunyana, you were also part of us in the NEC of the Women's League. And you were, they call me brave, but you were the brave one. And I remember we were in what they call today a holding room with Comrade David Makura of the, these were the provincial leadership. And there we were in this holding room. I can't remember what the occasion was, but there was a lady in this holding room that none of us knew who she was. And she spoke to this one and she spoke to that one. But none of us knew her. And then Comrade David asked, who is she? And Comrade Paul didn't know her. They thought she had come with me. I didn't know her. And everybody didn't know. And then it was decided that she was just taking chances. And she got lucky that nobody caught her out, so she was part of who was in the holding room. And there you were. They also asked you, Comrade Nombula, and you also didn't know, and Comrade Davis. So you asked, maybe somebody should deal with her. And Comrade David said, if anybody can deal with her, it is you, Comrade Nombula. Go and deal with her. And I don't want to say that you took her by the scruff of her neck and threw her out, but I would like to say that you did get rid of her. Comrade Edna, I learned to know you when you were the premier of the province. And then you were also working with us as a member of the NEC of the Women's League. And I always looked at you as the gentle, kind, disciplined lady. And I had a number of interactions with you, but I must say that you too were always respectful, kind to me particularly. I don't know if you had a soft spot for me, but it was like you always almost took me under your wing. And I thank you for your respect and for your kindness. And I also heard from your staff that you were the best minister that they ever had. They thought very highly of you. They spoke to me at a certain occasion, and that is what they said. So from your own actions around me, I agreed and I believe them. So I want to also acknowledge all the other people that are here, the Commission of Gender, COSATU leadership, the SANCO leadership, the SANGOKO leadership, and the business community. And not forgetting our veterans, and Comrade had spoken earlier. The comrade had spoken about us in exile, Comrade Anna Mohai. And yes, Comrade Anna Mohai, we work together, and we work together beautifully. And you were always, the team of that time was a very loving, committed, dedicated team that took care of our children, the babies, when you worked in the crèche. And you did everything that needed to be done. And I think you were also, the team was also trained properly. Besides being trained properly, how to look after babies, you had that motherly instinct already in you because you had your own children that you took care of, and you knew how to love your own children. Therefore, you extended that love to all the other children. And for that, I thank you. For having been part of us, we come a long way, Comrade Anna. And here you are still amongst us, still playing your part. But now we are both veterans. Okay. And I'd like to thank the pastor, Pastor Pumzile. Thank you for your wonderful prayers. They were so powerful. I do appreciate it. And it stirred me right into my spirit. Thank you very much. And Siki, thank you for being here, for gracing us, and Siki Sisulu. I think you are the only one of the Sisulu family that are here. Shaka is also here. I didn't see him. Shaka? Thank you. Oh, there you are. Thank you for being here. But I need to talk about what I think is appropriate. We have already spoken about why this birthday is only now, being hosted now. And I think you understand what our comrades have said, why it's only hosted now. But I also think I want to talk about the losses we've had. We have had many losses over this period of time, but we also lost just recently, a few days ago, we lost our comrade, Eddie Funde, who also worked with us for a long time, from his youth into exile, coming back up to the present. He was a very dedicated, committed, and loyal comrade. And he was always there for the other comrades and for the younger ones. And we do want to remember him for his dedication. He was also our ambassador in Germany. You all know about that, but we need to bow our heads and hold a minute of silence in his memory. So let us bow our heads in a minute of silence in the memory of Comrade Eddie Fundes. And so we say to his family and his 2 sons and to the movement, may his soul rest in everlasting and eternal peace. Hamba kala kawe, lama kawe, Comrade Eddie, our gentle giant. And so we are also commemorating our icon, Mam Albertina Sisulu's centenary, which she shares with Tata Madiba. And so I felt it would be a great honor for us women in particular, and all of us in general, to dedicate this occasion to her memory. Our mother, Mam Albertina Sisulu, and we rededicate ourselves to the values and qualities that she stood for. She led a life of honesty to herself and loyalty to the organization she served. Mam Albertina had very unique qualities. Mam Albertina was never loud, nor was she outrageous. And of course, unless she is provoked by the enemy or an enemy agent. She was never petty or spiteful. And no matter how deeply she was offended, because she had a high level of self-respect and respect for others. And this is what all up-and-coming leaders and our leaders of today should uphold. Was Mama Albertina able to balance her set of priorities? Mam Albertina had to learn the skills to juggle different priorities later in her life. When her tasks became overloaded, she had to find a balance being a woman, a professional, a wife and a mother, an activist and a politician. Dedication and honesty was key to her. And this is a powerful leadership skill. And that is to know when you are wrong and to admit to it. A good leader will never agree that she or he knows everything, and therefore does not think that they have all the answers, and therefore they listen. And Mam Albertina was one who was never afraid to speak her mind and show her displeasure, even to leadership, because she was confident and true to herself. She would give constructive criticism, therefore showing she was also not interested in negative and false attacks. And because she was positive about her role, she refused to channel her energy into negativity. Mam Albertina had a flair for style and for dress, and she carried herself with grace and dignity. And with her signature afro, always friendly and looking her best. Mam Albertina also understood that our country's problems will not all be solved during a lifetime. But Mom Albertina never underestimated the importance to have hope and courage and to share that spirit with others. She knew that there will still be many challenges worth fighting for, and that there's a history yet to be made. And grappling with these challenges will have to be you, us, the women. Our nation is led by yourselves, by ourselves. It's a big responsibility. And we should be sure to carry it effectively, because this is the era of the Women's League. Indeed, it has many challenges. In 1970, when I arrived in Lusaka, and we used to hold the women's section of the ANC, when we had our women's meetings, we used to rotate where we would hold our meetings, from the one member's house to the other members, these monthly meetings. In one of our homes, usually with our children in tow, we were received by Mom Winnie and Kobe, Mom Edna Mkabaza, Mom Kate Mulala, Mom Florence Maposho. And these are names that you may not remember or heard of. There was also Marla Rowley, Mom Ruth Mompati, and Mom Dori Mashaba. Yes. And our beloved sisters from abroad who had married our ANC comrades, Comrade Rita Mfanyana and Comrade Catherine Jelle. And the issues we faced in the 1970s and the 1980s were of the welfare of our women in exile, in the camps, our MK comrades in Angola, and at Mazimbu in Tanzania. And of course, matters to do with our children's welfare and their education, their well-being, and the well-being of our comrades, such as clothing and supplies through Mpondo. And Mpondo, if some of the comrades don't know what it is, it's bags of clothing that were brought from or sent to us from abroad. Our comrades in the Eastern European countries and sometimes from the West would send bales and bales of clothing, which our comrades would sort when it arrives. And we would stand in queues to receive those clothing, and Comrade Nkosazana Zuma knows about it. Comrade Zuma also knows about that. All the comrades that were in exile, Comrade Anna Mohai, we all stood in queues to receive what was given to us out of the bales. So this was Mpondo, and it was part of our work. And we also wanted to keep in touch with women back home. So we had a publication called VOW, which is Voice of Women. And it was edited by Comrade Mavivi. And the assistant editor was Comrade Gloria Mtungwa, who has also left us. She was known to be Belinda Martin here in South Africa. And wherever Comrade Mavivi is, we want to thank her in absentia for her hard work, for editing VOW, because we had to encourage our women inside the country. And it was not always easy to get material and to speak about their plight and to help them understand what we are doing here outside in exile. And those bundles of vow would be smuggled out. So we want to thank Comrade Mavivi for her hard work. She was also an MK operator as part of the others that were trained underground. We also worked with the women's section of our other liberation movements, such as SWAPO of Namibia, Frelimo of Mozambique and Guinea-Bissau and Tanzania. And we collaborated with women internationally through the ANC solidarity work. And this is most important for us to remember. I dip my head in honor of all the women in the various African countries who made a contribution and kept the Women's League alive in those days. We have to overcome the different challenges as women today because you are our leadership. You carry the country's future. You have been given the baton. You have to deal solidly and effectively with the terrible scourge that was mentioned by every speaker here tonight, the scourge of violence against children and women, of rape of babies, girls and women, poverty, unemployment, lack of housing. The list is endless. So let us together tonight dedicate ourselves to emulate Mom Albertina's life. A life of selfless service to her movement, to her people, to her country. And her examples of dignity, of honesty, of respect and humility are the examples she left us with. And I would like to give some word of encouragement to our president of the Women's League, Comrade Batabile, and to the executive members of the league, the top 5. And I have known you since we came back into the country, and I worked with you all. And I think I'm repeating what I've said earlier, but to say that it makes me very happy that you chose this special day, the Women's League, to honor me on Africa Day. Being an African makes me feel proud of our forebears because they already understood that a divided people cannot achieve much. So the founding of both the African National Congress in 1912 and the Organization of African Unity in 1963 was based on one goal: to establish cooperation and solidarity, first and foremost, amongst ourselves as Africans. So this is not a day to relax and to celebrate. The poverty and the poor conditions that prevail in many countries of Africa, the looting of resources, including the life of corruption, that some leaders display, calls upon all of us to revisit the ideals that were foremost on the agenda when the OAU was founded. For this reason, I call on all of us to do whatever we can to see to it that Africa Day gets a better understanding, especially for the younger generation today. And that the principles upon which the OAU was founded and a spirit of Pan-Africanism is embedded in South African society. And as much as we are a government ourselves here in South Africa, I think Comrade Zuma alluded to it earlier. that it is not easy to run a government and to run a country. I remember a friend of mine, a very, very close friend of mine, and she is a daughter of Sam Mutsweniana, Comrade Sam Mutsweniana's brother, the eldest brother, Carol Garus. Carol and I was very good friends, and when SWAPO was about to get their independence, Carol and I were lecturing together in the Institute of Namibia in Lusaka. And the day she was in my office, her phone in the next office was ringing. And she went to her office to answer the phone. And she had a long conversation there. And SWAPO was on the brink of getting their own independence, which was being handled in New York by the United Nations. And she came back to me and joined me in my office. And she said to me, you know, it was Moss, her husband. Moss and I had a long conversation. So I said, what is Moss saying? How are they doing in New York? And she said, oh, he says they are all very, very scared. They are all cooped up in one room with Comrade Sam Njoma and the leadership of SWAPO. And she says, Moss says to her that we are shivering in our boots. And she says, she asked Moss, why are you shivering in your boots? And he says, because we are asking one another how to govern, because we didn't know a thing. We knew very well how to run a liberation organization or a guerrilla army, but we know nothing about how to govern. So it's not easy when we make all these mistakes because we were not taken through how to govern as a people who come from a liberation movement. But let me not get the program director to come and whisper to me that my time is up. So let me say thank you to the comrades. And also to say thank you to Comrade Nkosazana Zuma for being the person that she is, for the hard work that you've always done, and for the examples, the good examples that you set in all the time that you carried out the struggle with us, and the great job that you performed in the OAU, being the first woman chairperson of the OAU. Thank you, Comrade Nkosazana Zuma. But I also want to lastly, congratulate our Deputy President, who is now also the Premier of the Free State. And to say that it is also a first for a woman in the Free State to be a Premier. I know Comrade Edna was a Premier before, and others were Premiers, but Comrade Ntombela, we wish you success in everything that you are going to do. And I want to say that we, the women of South Africa, of the ANC, whether we belong to the Women's League or not, we are right behind you. And we give you all that support. And we give you encouragement. And we say to you, have strength. The road is not easy. You have many challenges there. Thank you very much. Good night. Thank you.
Right now, for all the NEC members, I feel like singing Ia Sebeletswa Haila La.
Sebeletswa. Ah ah ah.